Beneath 6 months of unbroken Antarctic night, a handful of scientists live sealed inside bases engineered like survival pods, where every calorie, every drop of water, and every routine is planned a year in advance. Cut off from the world, even kitchen mistakes can have consequences that last the entire winter. So how do they actually endure life here, with no sunlight, no resupply, and no way out until spring? A facilities engineer begins the morning with a walk through the main corridor, clipboard in hand, checking off each system that keeps the base alive. The building stands on thick steel pylons, lifting it above the drifting snow. This design is not just for stability, it forces the wind to sweep underneath and prevents the station from being buried as storms rage for days. Each module is linked by insulated hallways, so residents can move between labs, kitchens, and sleeping quarters without ever stepping into the cold. Private rooms line the residential wing, a luxury reserved for winter crews. In summer, when the population swells, bunks are shared, but during polar night, solitude is essential for mental health. Each room is barely wider than a twin bed, with a desk, a lamp, and blackout blinds to simulate a normal sleep cycle. The air is so dry that nosebleeds and cracked skin become routine. Humidifiers run constantly, monitored alongside the heating system. The kitchen sits at the heart of the base. Industrial freezers and pantries stretch wall to wall, each item logged and inventoried months before the last supply ship departed. A walk-in refrigerator keeps potatoes and onions from freezing solid, while shelves hold flour, rice, and canned goods stacked floor to ceiling. In a small glass-walled room, hydroponic trays glow under LED lights, coaxing lettuce and herbs from nutrient mist, one of the few sources of fresh food until spring. Water starts as ice, and it is melted in a reverse osmosis plant that filters thousands of gallons each week. Every drop is rationed. Showers are limited to 3 minutes, and laundry is done on strict schedules. Waste is collected, treated, and packed into sealed containers, then stored outside awaiting removal when the ice thaws. Nothing is left behind, not even a scrap of food waste. These routines, repeated daily, are as much about survival as they are about order. In an environment where a clogged pipe or a broken heater can become a crisis, the architecture and systems of the base are the first, and sometimes only, defense against the Antarctic night. Inside the base, the body's needs become a daily calculation. In the depths of Antarctic winter, even simple tasks burn through calories at rates far beyond what is normal at home. For a winter-over crew, men routinely require 4,000 to 6,000 calories a day, and women 3,000 to 4,500 calories a day. This is not just about appetite. The cold triggers a constant metabolic churn. Shivering, muscle tension, and the dry, thin air all drive up energy use. Even walking between modules or performing maintenance checks in minus 40 degrees Celsius air can double caloric needs compared to a temperate climate. Every meal, every snack, every cup of hot tea comes from stores planned more than a year in advance. The logistics officer and the chef work together, calculating down to the kilogram how much flour, how many sacks of rice, how many tins of beans will see the crew through 8 months of isolation. For a base of 23, that means nearly 18,000 kilograms of food and 9,000 liters of liquids, all packed into containers and shipped before the last flight out. There are no second chances. If an item is forgotten, it will not arrive until the spring thaw. Freezers form the backbone of survival. Walk-in rooms chilled to minus 18 degrees Celsius hold months' worth of meat, vegetables, and eggs, some oiled and rotated to last through the long dark. The paradox is clear. Outside the world is colder than any freezer, but supplies cannot simply be left in the open. The polar air is so dry and so cold that it would ruin food through freezer burn or sublimation. Only the controlled environment of commercial freezers keeps stores usable for the duration. Engineers check temperatures daily, logging readings on clipboards, alert for any sign of generator trouble. A single outage, even for a few hours, could mean the loss of a season's rations. Every station has contingency plans, emergency generators, backup dry goods, and vacuum-sealed rations stashed in fireproof containers. In the event of a freezer failure, the kitchen pivots to shelf-stable foods, pasta, lentils, powdered milk, meant to last years if needed. This careful provisioning is not just a matter of comfort. It is a buffer against scarcity, a hedge against the unknown. When the sun will not rise for months, and the nearest help is thousands of kilometers away, the difference between endurance and crisis is measured in calories, kilowatts, and the reliability of a humming freezer. The last fresh salad is never just a meal. It is a moment everyone feels coming, counted down in days and then hours as the greens in the hydroponic trays dwindle. Perishables like lettuce, spinach, and a handful of herbs last barely 2 weeks after the final resupply flight. When the time comes, a quiet announcement goes out over dinner. The chef sets out the last bowl of salad, maybe with a few slices of tomato if any survive the journey and the wait. Plates are passed slowly, each person measuring their serving, knowing there will not be another taste of crisp greens until the sun returns months from now. The ritual is both practical and symbolic. Crew members linger at the table, eating more slowly than usual, talking in low voices about what they will miss most. Some savor each bite, while others trade stories of fresh fruit back home. The absence of color on the plate marks the start of true winter. After this, meals become shades of brown and beige, drawn from freezers and cans. The loss is more than just nutritional. It is a reminder of distance, of how far they are from ordinary life, and of how carefully everything must be rationed to last the season. Afterward, the empty bowl is cleared, and conversation shifts. The reality settles in. For the next 6 months, the only green will come from the artificial glow of the greenhouse. The memory of that last salad lingers, shaping how the crew looks at every meal that follows. In the deep cold and darkness, even a handful of leaves becomes something worth remembering. Rows of lettuce, basil, and tiny tomatoes thrive under violet and white LED lights, even as the world outside the greenhouse sits in perpetual darkness. The Eden ISS module, a pair of insulated shipping containers stationed 400 meters from the main base, hums with life. Here, a technician in fleece layers checks nutrient reservoirs, adjusts the spectrum of the LED lights, and logs the day's harvest. The system runs on a near-closed loop. Water vapor from the plants condenses and cycles back into the tanks, while air filters and ultraviolet sterilizers keep the environment free of pests and disease. Each square meter of growing trays produces nearly 27 kilograms of edible greens per year, a yield that can mean the difference between a monotonous diet and the taste of something fresh. Once a week, the technician delivers baskets of crisp greens and herbs to the kitchen. The chef, armed with spreadsheets and a year's worth of ration plans, works these harvests into the menu. With every delivery, there is a burst of color on the serving line, salads, garnishes, and the rare tomato slice. The rest of the menu is a careful rotation: stews, curries, roasted meats, and breads, all drawn from the vast stores inventoried before winter began. Planning is precise, every gram counted, every meal scheduled months in advance. Over the course of a season, the kitchen will serve hundreds of thousands of meals, each one a small act of endurance. Meal times become anchors in the endless night. The communal table is where the crew gathers, not just to eat, but to mark time and share stories. The rhythm of harvest, cooking, and eating knits the group together, turning food into both fuel and comfort. In a place defined by scarcity, the greenhouse and the kitchen are engines of resilience, bridging the gap between survival and something like home. Today, the routines that sustain Antarctic crews mirror a challenge facing us all: how to endure isolation and scarcity with discipline and cooperation. As remote environments become test beds for future exploration, the lessons forged in darkness may soon shape how we survive beyond Earth. Thank you for watching.